everybody. I am Tim Schafer. I was the project leader on Full Throttle, and welcome to this exciting commentary.
I'm Larry Ahern, and I was lead animator.
I'm Casey Ackley. I was production manager.
I'm Stephen Shaw, and I was the lead programmer.
I'm Peter McConnell, and I was the composer.
And I'm Clint Bajikian, and lead sound designer.
Is there a reason you're not doing it like Drunk History?
Would you like a drink? Because we have
Wouldn't that be funny? No, not right now. I think we come up with a lot more stories.
Yeah, we'll do that for our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Drunk Game Commentary. All right, you guys.
Asphalt and trouble.
Rip Burger, you're dumber than dirt. Oh, Mr. Corley, if you'd only listen.
So this is our dramatic intro to the game. We want to be super cinematic. And it has the fabulous voice of Roy Conrad, the late great Roy Conrad. And now we're getting into our celebrity voiceover. Anyone know who the celebrity is?
Yes.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill as Rip Burger, super evil.
He does a great job.
He's amazing.
He sure does.
We knew a little bit that he would do a great job, not just from the Star Wars stuff, but he was already the Joker at this time. He's already the Joker in the animated TV series.
Wow.
So who was Corley?
Malcolm Corley was Hamilton Camp. Hamilton Camp, who was also passed away, unfortunately. There's my what?
Oh, yeah, you got to go back to that. It's a little gold Tim.
Little gold Tim butt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there'll be a glory shot of that later.
That was a Charlie Ramos.
I remember Peter McConnell making fun of me for the destabilizing inner ear condition line. Here goes Ben's Now, this is... are we using the Rebel Assault engine yet? Oh, wait, my nude scene's coming up. Everybody cover your eyes. Nobody look.
There it is.
Oh, there it is, right.
The only
Decent
difference...
exposure.
Yeah, you're welcome, everybody, for that. And some great Gone Jackals music comes in here. This is still an introduction that I love to watch because it was really different than Day of the Tentacle, which was our last game, where we had a lot of trouble just getting the founding fathers to animate as they jumped out the window when you chopped down when you scared them out of the Constitutional Congress. Moving that many pixels on the screen was impossible, but this time we were using the Rebel Assault engine, which was called Slush. And Steve, how did
Insane Engine?
Wait, now what? Hey,
Right,
you tell us what's going on
The
here.
Insane Engine. It was the Insane Engine. Slush was the tool that you created. The Insane
Okay.
Extreme Slush.
So this came about because the advent of CD-ROMs, which had basically infinite storage compared to what we're used to on the 3.5-inch. Look at these amazing credits. Here comes Steve's.
Glory shot.
Yeah, nice. Of course.
Try getting these today in Call of Duty or what have you.
What, opening credits?
Yeah.
I love opening credits. I guess I feel like they just set the mood, and they Brian Rich. They set the mood and they make you feel like you're going to see something awesome and epic.
Absolutely.
Plus you get to hear all this awesome music.
Live band.
So CD-ROMs came out and Myst was a big hit, and then Lucas made Rebel Assault, which was like took 3D rendered trenches and you could fight TIE fighters in these trenches, right?
Right.
And then we're like, we'll take that.
Yeah, Vince came up with the streaming engine and it did really well, and he kept doing improvements on it for Rebel Assault 1, Rebel Assault 2, et cetera, and this got put into here, and
it was mind-boggling at the time because he's like, look, I'm going to do this thing. It's going to store the data for one frame, and then the next frame, it's not going to have the whole frame. It's only going to have the data that changed. And we're like, what? That's a compression idea that has never been. That's crazy. So it allowed us to do full screen animation.
Hey, Ben. You know, Ben, we're broke.
Yeah?
And if some cash doesn't come our way soon, we're in big trouble.
Relax. I have a feeling something's coming our way. Something big.
You better stay out here, Rip. This place is bikers only. All right. Who's the guy that drove over my car? could possibly be taking so long?
Maybe old man Corley got himself in trouble.
Yeah, maybe they took the old guy out back and worked him over with a 2x4.
An appealing notion, but improbable.
And I'm sorry about telling this story, but we were talking about making a movie of this with MTV. Do you remember that? MTV wanted to put this on liquid television, and and I was in MTV in New York, and I was talking to a guy about it, and he was saying that he was playing this intro to the game, and that Mike Judge had walked by. Mike Judge was doing Beavis and Butthead at the time, and he walked by and he stopped and he walked back in. He listened. He's like, "Did that guy just say, whenever I smell asshole, I think of mine?" And that's what I think of whenever I hear that line. And I had to tell that story. We probably can't use that story in the commentary, though. But now you know.
Sure you can.
Does look like an escort service to you?
You would be well compensated for your time, of course.
Not interested.
It's fairly obvious that you could use the money.
Listen, I said we're not for rent. The polecats are not goons for hire.
Not even if it were Malcolm Corley's dying wish? Rip Burger! That does it. I'm gonna...
Hold on there, Malcolm. If you don't mind, I'd like to step outside with Mr. Ripburger for a little chat.
Excellent idea. And the doctor says he only has a few months to live.
That's bad news for all of us. He's not just a nice guy. He's also the last motorcycle maker in the country. What happens to Corley Motors if he dies?
Don't worry. I have a plan. And if you come to the shareholders' meeting with us, you'll find out what it is.
No dice, Ripburger. The polecats are not thugs for rent. If you want to buy muscle, you should go find the Rottweilers.
The old man says it's the polecats or nothing.
Then I guess it'll have to be nothing.
And that's your last word?
That's it.
Well, I'd like to make you just one final offer. Bolus, take this coat and go get his motorcycle. We'll have to tie up this little 200-pound loose end. It will need to look like an accident.
That stuffed shirt actually thinks I'll leave him in control of Corley Motors when I go. Boy, is he in for a surprise.
Hey, where's Ben going?
Your colleague has decided to accept our generous offer after all. As a matter of fact, he's gone on ahead to scout out the route.
He did? Well then, let's roll 'em, boys. Yahoo! Corville, here we come.
I remember the dumbest things, like the back of the bar where the dumpster is. I just remember telling Peter Chan to get rid of the ladder. Like, he had a ladder there that went up onto the roof, and that was part of the learning. Like, you can't put interesting things in adventure games because, like, the player's going to want to go up that ladder and climb up there, and so he had to paint it out. He was so mad about that. But and I think of this room where we started talking about how did we do a game that stylized. Do you remember this, Larry? Like stylized, like, but not a cartoon for kids. Because we didn't want to go quote-unquote realistic, but we wanted to do something that was more adult. And remember, you guys talked a lot about Mike Mignola and Hellboy, and how things disappeared into the blackness a lot. And so you can see in the bar, there's a lot up in the TV and the pipes and stuff. It just kind of disappears into nothingness. I remember the dumbest things, like the back of the bar where the dumpster is. I just remember telling Peter Chan to get rid of the ladder. Like, he had a ladder.
So here, there's a puzzle where you kick open the door after this cutscene, right? You kick open the door.
Kick open the door was just like a kind of a character setting thing for us. Where, like, we always talked about how, Bernard Bernoulli and David Tentacle, if he had to like get through a locked door and all he had was a bologna sandwich, that he would figure out a way of like putting the mayonnaise on the floor and sliding the bread under and then taking the toothpick and poking the key through the hole and dropping it and then pulling, and that Ben Throttle would just eat the sandwich and kick the door down. And that was like how we were.
Some joker took my keys. I don't like that.
So here, there's a puzzle where you kick open the door after this cutscene, right? You kick open the door.
Kick open the door was just like a kind of a character setting thing for us. Where like we always talked about how Bernard Bernoulli and Day of the Tentacle, if he had to like get through a locked door and all he had was a bologna sandwich, that he would figure out a way of like putting the mayonnaise on the floor and sliding the bread under, and then taking the toothpick and poking the key through the hole and dropping it and then pulling, and that Ben Throttle would just eat the sandwich and kick the door down, and that was like how we were like expressing character through puzzle design in these games.
Which is why this game is 2 hours long.
It's why it's a little shorter.
40.
That's where I came from. Nothing that way from me but a warrant. I fixed your door. It was sticky.
Look, I don't want no trouble. Just leave me out of this mess.
And there's the bartender's name is Quahog. I don't know if that comes up ever in the game, but his name is always Quahog, which is like from Moby Dick. It's how Queequeg misspells his own name when he signs into the log of the ship.
Okay. Yeah, whenever I would do a search on it, I would always get Queequeg. I'm like, is that supposed to be? Because I remember you saying it was related to that. And then working with the animation team trying to do the high-res versions of all these characters, every time I got an email about it, it was spelled differently.
Yeah.
It's Quoog. It's Queeg.
You know what might look better on your nose?
What?
The bar. Now don't mess around with me.
All right. I got your keys, but I don't know nothing. They had guns. They told me to stall you as long as possible.
Why?
I don't know. I overheard them say something about an ambush up the road.
What else?
Nothing. Look, man, here are your keys, all right? Oh, someone did say something about killing you and making it look like an accident.
They didn't do too good of a job there. But why ambush the polecats? I'd better get moving.
And there's the bartender's name is Quahog. I don't know if that comes up ever in the game, but his name is always Quahog.
Indestructible. No one can stop me. But they try.
Hey, ain't you the #1 polecat honcho?
Yeah, and you're in my way.
Well, get used to it, bud.
Oh man, dream sequence.
I remember this scene was literally tossed together in about an hour. We need something in here after the wreck.
You mean lovingly crafted?
Lovingly. Yes.
in an hour.
Sorry, is that what's supposed to be on the commentary about how much effort was put into these? A lot of it was we had such a tiny team, and we're going, the whole thing will be fully animated. It'll be crazy.
Watching this, I'm realizing, like, after Day of the Tentacle, where we had just 3 full-screen animations in the whole game, like, did we sit down and say, like, hey, this next game is going to be crazy, and we're going to have all these full-screen animations the entire time?
Yeah, we said it was going to be a completely cinematic thing. Everything, there's going to be scenes.
I don't remember realizing what we were taking on in the beginning.
No, we had no
idea. Which is probably the special talent I have that lets me do with these games, which is to not think about what this is going to entail.
Because we would basically plan out the scene, and about the only thing I remember doing to try to keep it reasonable was saying, if we edit enough, no one shot will have that much animation in it. You know, just as the animation's getting complicated, cut to another angle, you know. Right. But still, the scene was going to last X amount of frames long. It's like somewhere in there, you're going to have to animate something. Yeah. So we just did a lot of fast cutting MTV stuff.
People doing stuff in it, that would take forever to animate. Yeah. People picking up objects, putting them down, lip syncing. But if you cut to just someone's eyes moving slightly, it's more dramatic and it is less.
Yeah, so it was always like, you know, the guy that's swinging the wrench at the thing that's going to blow up, you'd get him to start to move, and then you'd show the reaction of the guy being surprised. And then you hear boom, and then you cut back in the little wisp of smoke.
Well, I'll let you get back to work.
Let me know if you need any aspirin or anything.
Maureen got her name. Originally, the story had 2 twins that were the twin daughters of Malcolm Corley, and they're named Maureen and Tina after these 2 girls who lived in the dorm with me in college. And then we cut Tina. So, sorry, Tina.
Who's this?
Oh, that's me and my uncle.
Oh, good. You're not dead yet. I might still get a quote.
Well, I'd better take off.
All
right. Chan does a lot of designs where you can see, like, the story of the town is that it's sunk. There's obviously a building that was here before and it just sunk, and they're just like, screw it, let's build another house on top of it. And they just build another one. Like a lot of he does a lot of double houses. There's some of that in Psychonauts, like roofs upon roofs.
Smart.
Who's out there? Hey! I'm trying to do my art in here, bud. I don't got time to waste on...
I'm a friend of Moe's. I need...
Listen, I didn't take no welding torch. You hear me? I'm no crook. So get off my back. What do you want?
This is important.
Not to me, you freaky-looking hood. Now beat it! You knock for a reason, or you just nuts? Get away.
Let me in.
Ha! Ha ha ha! Good one, punk. You stick around long enough and maybe they'll pick you up with the trash. Ha! Hey!
I'm about to roll this tin can.
That's it. I'm calling the cops.
Good. I've been meaning to report a stolen welding torch.
Get a life, you loser. What do I have to do to get rid of you? Hey, dirtbag, I ain't home. There you...
Candygram.
That's it. If you don't take off for good, I'll...
You'll what?
I'll glaze your ugly puss with my welding torch. I mean, my hairdryer. I'll get out my hairdryer and burn you, so beat it. I don't got time to waste on bums like...
Building inspector.
No dice. What do I have to do to get rid of you? You knock for a reason or you just nuts?
Got some flowers here.
Scram! Get away from my door, you bonehead punk! Hey! I'm trying to do my art in here, buddy! What do I have to do to get rid of you? Hey, you lousy nobody.
Can I use your phone?
Beat it! Hey, dirtbag, I ain't home.
I'm here to look at the art.
Nice try. Who's out there? What do you want?
You've won something. Let me in.
Give it up. Hey! I'm trying to do my art in here, buddy. Get away from my door.
Quick, the whole trailer's on fire.
Hit the road. What do you want? What do I have to do to get rid of you? I don't got time to waste.
Hi, I'm from Mobile Manor Magazine.
Get your greasy, oily, leather-wearing carcass off my property. Hey, dirtbag, I ain't home.
This is the police.
Enough already. Hey, dirtbag,
I'm selling these fine leather jackets.
Beat it! You stick around long enough and maybe they'll pick you up with the trash.
I take it all back. Now let me in.
Nice try. Hey, dirtbag, I ain't home.
Don't make me come in there.
Nice try. What do I have to do? You knock for a reason or you just nuts?
This is the first scene that you hear the Chitlins Whiskey and Skirt song.
Yeah. That's my favorite song.
Increased Chances. Yeah. Almost the great John Spiegel of Chicago, friend of ours.
It creates a narrative problem in the game, though, which is that
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, we were always like, this is not a post-apocalyptic game. This is just an alternate reality, like an alternate world. Like, there's been no nuclear devastation. This is just a gritty, highway-based part of the country, and in the future. And but a lot of people thought it was like, because it is inspired by Road Warrior a lot in terms of its cinematics and the way it tells the story. But
This is the first scene that you hear the Chitlins Whiskey and Skirt song.
Yeah. That's my favorite song.
Increased Chances. Yeah. Almost the great John Spiegel of Chicago, friend of ours.
It creates a narrative problem in the game, though, which is that
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, we were always like, this is not a post-apocalyptic game. This is just an alternate reality, like an alternate world. Like, there's been no nuclear devastation. This is just a gritty, highway-based part of the country, and in the future. And but a lot of people thought it was like, because it is inspired by Road Warrior a lot in terms of its cinematics and the way it tells the story. But there's nothing post-apocalyptic about it. But that song is all about nuclear, like it's a post-apocalyptic song, and so it kind of feeds into that. So
it's good to create false rumors, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. Remember, this was one of our big things, was changing the interface, so we get a full screen game this time around, as opposed to Data Tentacle, where you had to look up and down. But in this game, we wanted there's a theory that you should have the interface where people's eyeballs are, and their eyeballs on the cursor, so let's make the interface pop up on the cursor. And I remember that you hadn't seen that a lot. I think at the same time, you guys over at Lucas Learning were doing. Remember the secret project? The secret library archive project? There was you guys were doing one where the interface popped up near the cursor?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that was cutting edge, you guys. Cutting edge cursors.
Chitlins Whiskey and Skirt.
That's my welding torch. How'd you get it?
Oh, it was just lying around.
A pair of forks, little gas, and we're set.
Chan does a lot of designs where you can see, like, the story of the town is that it's sunk. There's obviously a building that was here before, and it just sunk, and they're just like, screw it, let's build another house on top of it, and they just build them. This is a pretty ambitious game. Like I feel like on every level we were
long
just like
conversation.
We got in way over.
Well, now, does anyone remember?
Well, I mean, I think we were thinking about things like, for me, I was thinking about Road Warrior and Yojimbo, because Road Warrior, I just love the way it's just dramatic, gritty story being told, like an opera almost, and then Yojimbo is just the stoic hero. You know, you've seen Yojimbo with Toshiro Mifune is like this really stoic main character who's not like a big tough guy who really shows off a lot, but he's really quiet until he goes and then he goes and kills 20 samurai, just really quickly. And Ben was really inspired by him. And then I got the screenplay for The Road Warrior somewhere, and in the first shot of it, Mad Max, like, he gets to a fork in the road, he doesn't know where to drive to, and he pulls over and he finds a wreck of a car and he takes a bumper off of it and he throws it in the air, and wherever the bumper lands, he drives off that way, which is exactly how Yojimbo starts, with him doing it with a stick. I was like, I knew it. I knew this is all one big part of this generalized lone hero thing going on.
We were looking at Clint Eastwood, Man with No Name stuff, too. Everybody squints like Clint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, easier to animate, right?
Yeah,
squint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the first scene we did.
I always thought it was.
This is the first thing we ever wired up in the game?
Yeah, we did this one specifically for, was it CES or whatever else, and we had to get it done, and we had just the assets for this.
That cracks me up that we made like a 2-room puzzle for CES. Did we do a special version of Ben? Because like he's all darkly
black.
lit. We didn't have dynamic lighting back then, did we? Right?
No.
Like nowadays we'd be painted with a certain color that we would like tune up and down. But here we must have painted a whole nother 3D we had in this game.
God, was that the CES, Tim, where we had that guy on the motorcycle out in front of the booth?
I don't remember.
Pretending to be Ben Throttle.
Right.
I didn't remember. Did we have a booth babe, dude?
We had a booth dude, and like all us ladies were swooning.
I just remember looking at the pictures thinking, that guy looks
a hunky Ben.
We all wanted to go take a picture with him.
Looks nothing like someone
Did I even get to go to that CES?
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing any of this. Tell me about it.
Well, it was just a little, booth in the back, but then there was a guy with a motorcycle right out front, and he was totally drawing people in.
Maureen is the Kath Soucie does the voice. She does a lot of cartoons. You look at the credits for almost any cartoon you're watching, Kath Soucie will show up. She does a great job with Maureen's voice, and she came back later on Brutal Legend and did Lita Halford.
I'm talking to you, boy. You are trespassing on private property.
Remain still, and we will not shoot you.
I get to say fire before you do that, Floyd.
Sorry, boss. I got excited.
This is a pretty ambitious game. Like I feel like.
Remain where you... Hey, where is he?
I told you, I nailed him last time.
Well, who set off the alarm, Floyd?
Maybe somebody's just fooling with us.
No, it's him. It's that guy you keep missing.
Well, if you could hold this thing still while I'm shooting.
I'm going down for a closer look.
I don't see nobody. He must have run away.
Nah, we would have seen him running from the air. He must be hiding up in the tower.
We got him treed.
Let's go up and get him.
Maureen. Maureen is the Kath Soucie does the voice. She has a lot of cartoons. You look at the credits for almost any cartoon you're watching, Kath Soucie will show up. She does a great job with Maureen's voice, and she came back later on Brutal Legend and did Lita Halford.
That's not something I want to lock.
Hey, who's that down there in the yard?
It's him. Get him.
Where?
Over there. Quick, you go around the other side and we'll have him cornered.
Where'd he go? Let's call it quits, huh, boss?
No, let's call on reinforcements.
Oh, good. You get this from the gas tower?
Not exactly.
Just a pair of new forks and we're on the road.
This was I feel like this is like one of the first puzzles we designed for the game, and I have fond feelings about it. I don't know if everyone likes this puzzle; they might hate it, but we were like, this game is not going to have a lot of complicated inventory combining puzzles where you collect a whole bunch of stuff and then put it together in inventory. It's going to be mostly all on the screen. So like here you come up and there's a rope, there's a chain you can pull and it opens the gate, but then you can't keep it open when you run through it. And the trick is to do something counterintuitive. You have to lock the gate. And I was so happy with that because it was all just right on the screen. You did have one inventory item, which is the lock. But then again, some people like all puzzles, hate that puzzle. So, you know, I like it.
Junk.
There's my car, my actual car.
There.
So
that's the Timmobile?
Oh, yeah.
Do you still have that car?
It's in a garage in Reading because I was driving. I bought the car for my dad, which is his '69 Le Mans, which is it looks like a GTO. It's a really fun car to have. And then I go at lunch one day with a bunch of LucasArts coworkers in it. Someone before I started it, someone's like, "Do you smell gas?" And I was like, "No, you're silly." And I started it, and then boom.
That was me and Michelle Harrell.
Yeah, and do you remember like black smoke came out of the defroster bins?
It's a convertible.
Yeah, we had I was like, "Get out of the car!" I jumped out, and I run to this jewelry store to use 911. And secretly, I've been wanting to call 911 all my life, right? Like you just be like, "Oh, someday I'm gonna." So I call it,
and they're like, "You're at the jewelry store. Is it a robbery? What's going on?"
and I ran back to the car, and there was a pool of fire underneath the car, and there were already fire people there, like firefighters there, because I was across the street from the fire department. I could have just run. I could have run to the fire department to bring them over. And anyway, they put out the fire, and then it was really bad. There's bubbles embedded in the windshield from just the heat. Jeez. And you guys go back to the office. So you guys went back to the office while I hung around with the tow truck. And you told Peter Chan what had happened. And so Peter Chan happened to be painting this art. And so he's like, well, I guess Tim's car is toast. I'll put it in the junkyard. And he painted my beautiful car in the junkyard.
That was when you actually had to run somewhere to make a phone call.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, fire damage. Forget about it. Cars. No, thank you. Down. Bad dog.
There's my car, my actual car.
There.
So,
Oh, that's the Tinmobile?
Oh, yeah.
Do you still have that car?
Here, Poochie Pooch. Pooch. Bon appetit, Mud.
There's my car, my actual car.
Nice forks. Where'd you find them?
Right next to the knives and spoons.
Well, that's it. Wait outside for a minute and I'll finish her up. I'm working on a surprise.
Mo's almost done with my bike. Maybe there's a chance I can stop the ambush.
Ambush? Really? Where?
Somewhere between here and Corville. My crew is escorting some VIP. Thanks for the lift. Now I got a quote for you.
All right, here she comes. Am I cool or what?
You're amazing. I should crash that thing every day. So what's the surprise?
Oh, just your average everyday pre-regulation destroyer class solid fuel recoil booster.
You're serious?
Yes.
But only the vultures.
Did you notice the tattoo foreshadowing of Maureen's? She's got a little bit of a vulture's tattoo, because it's like a big, spoilers, I won't say, in case you're playing this game and you don't know. But there's some foreshadowing right there.
By the way, I had somebody contact me a couple months ago asking for the definitive version of the vulture's tattoo because she was going to get it. Oh my God. Wow. And I was feeling terrible because she's going to ink it on her, and I'm like, I don't know. There's the pixelated version, but it's so messed up. And then there's a sketch that I have, but it's not the final one because I think trying to translate it to pixels and then shrinking it down, a lot of that didn't read. So I'm trying to figure out, I don't know what to tell her, which is the official one, because it's kind of... I just sent her a bunch of stuff and said, take your best guess. I don't know.
All right, look lively. He's a sneaky one.
This time he ain't getting past us.
See him?
Nope.
Keep looking.
really fun things about sound design for this game is Michael and Peter and I would occasionally have lunch with Gary Rydstrom, who is a sound designer up at Lucasfilm and Skywalker Sound, and he did the sound for Titanic and Jurassic Park and Saving Private Ryan, and come on, this was one of the very top sound designers in the world, and just having conversations with him. That's when we decided to really record a lot of the sounds originally. Go out in the field with mobile recording rigs, and then also combining things creatively. People all talk about it today, but back then it was a little bit new, I think, in the games industry to say, combine the lion roar with the kickstart of the bike, for example.
Yeah, this was definitely the first game we did it on because playing Dot recently, I was like, I think these all came off a CD. I think all the sound effects in Dot, there's a lot of like
we were lucky to even
a cartoon sound effects library, and then immediately with Throttle, it's like you started the bees in the jar.
Yeah.
I always talk about the bees in the jar because I always thought it was so funny that like you got 4 motorcycle sounds out of like the 4 different motorcycle tribes, the gangs in the game. You had the bees in a jar that were slowed down a lot for the Rottweilers and sped up a lot for the cavefish.
Yeah.
So do you remember the components of like Ben's bike?
Well, Ben's, we hired a biker from San Francisco who had a Harley chopper.
Very customized.
Very not painted. It was all just sort of nickel colored and straight pipes, which basically were like cannons going off every stroke. And there's just so many stories about that whole recording session.
He set off car alarms in his neighborhood when he drove through it.
Set off car alarms, and he was the real deal too. I mean, he had a couple bikes, but he brought that one up to Marin, and we had a whole long recording session, and that ended up being Ben's bike.
Wait, I want to hear about how you got the bees in the jar.
Oh, I think that was a library
sound.
That
actually was a library sound, but we used a lot of
I thought you captured all the bees. It must have taken all day.
Heard a lot.
I remember Gary Rydstrom came around and actually looked at the game when we were working on it.
That's right. He liked a couple things. Yeah, in fact, he complimented. I had looped a tiger growl and. One of the really fun things about sound design for this game is Michael and Peter and I would occasionally have lunch with Gary Rydstrom, who is a sound designer up at Lucasfilm and Skywalker Sound, and he did the sound for Titanic and Jurassic Park and Saving Private Ryan, and come on, this was one of the very top sound designers in the world, and just having conversations with him. That's when we decided to really record a lot of the sounds originally. Go out in the field with mobile recording rigs, and then also combining things creatively. People all talk about it today, but back then it was a little bit new, I think, in the games industry to say, combine the lion roar with the kickstart of the bike, for example.
Yeah, this was definitely the first game we did it on because playing Dot recently, I was like, I think these all came off a CD. I think all the sound effects in Dot, there's a lot of like
we
from
were lucky to even
a cartoon sound effects library, and then immediately with Throttle, it's like you started the bees in the jar. I always talk about the bees in the jar because I always thought it was so funny that like you got 4 motorcycle sounds out of like the 4 different motorcycle tribes, the gangs in the game. You had the bees in a jar that were slowed down a lot for the Rottweilers and sped up a lot for the cavefish.
Yeah.
So do you remember the components of like Ben's bike?
Well, Ben's, we hired a biker from San Francisco who had a Harley chopper.
Very customized.
Very not painted. It was all just sort of nickel colored and straight pipes, which basically were like cannons going off every stroke. And there's just so many stories about that whole recording session.
Set off car alarms in his neighborhood when he drove through it.
Set off car alarms, and he was the real deal too. I mean, he had a couple bikes, but he brought that one up to Marin, and we had a whole long recording session, and that ended up being Ben's bike.
Wait, I want to hear about how you got the bees in the jar.
Oh, I think that was a library
That
sound.
actually was a library sound, but we used a lot of sort of.
Well, I thought you captured all the bees. It must have taken all day.
I remember Gary Rydstrom came around and actually looked at the game when we were working on it.
That's right. He liked a couple things. Yeah, in fact, he complimented. I had looped a tiger growl and looped it for an element when the bike is just idling, and he goes, "Nice loop." That's one of the things you just.
But whatever, I thought there was a donkey bang and a
there were
jet engine in a line where. So those are the other biker gangs, not Ben's bike.
Yeah. In Ben's bike, the main thing was the lion when he kicks it off. When he kicks it over, the lion roar with the sound of a bike being kicked over, and then the purring. It was not a purr, but it's kind of like a throaty growl of the tiger for when it's just idling.
Oh, this is the first.
Hear that? He's back at the gas tower.
He's got a lot of nerve, that piece of trash.
Let's get him.
All units follow me.
Ben, how'd you get behind us?
Where are the suits?
Corley's making a pit stop. He has a bladder the size of a thimble, man.
Ripburger?
Haven't seen him in a while. Ben, man, what's the deal? Did you find something up the road? Are we headed for trouble?
No. We're in it.
Put my head in a basket, 'cause I'd had a tank full. When she blew my gasket, I surely was thankful. Till I head for the skies up above. It's a woman with wheels that I love. Yeah.
Come on, old man. I gotcha. Now, do something incriminating, like ambush somebody. Aha, the plot thickens.
You shouldn't have laughed at me in those board meetings, Malcolm.
What a psycho.
Gotcha. Hey, look what I found in the bushes.
What is that?
It's a chokehold. Come here and I'll demonstrate.
It's got a camera.
I'll get her.
No. Nestor will take care of her. You have an important engagement with the rest of the Corley family.
Right. But don't forget to destroy that camera. Yeah.
Now then, Malcolm, how about one for the road?
Corley?
Ben! I guess Rip Burger couldn't wait for natural causes. Just like him to hit a man when his fly's down.
Rip Burger did this to you?
Yeah, he knew I was dying, and he knew that my will would put him out of a job. He wants to take over Corley Motors, Ben. Sell it off to foreigners, lay off workers, start making minivans. You understand me? Minivans! Oh. You gotta hurt him for me, Ben. Promise me you'll hurt him bad.
I promise.
I want my daughter to take over the company.
You have a daughter?
Yeah, and she's a real mechanical genius, Ben. Rebuilt her first carburetor when she was 4. I used to call her the diaper dynamo. Find my daughter, Ben. Find Maureen.
Maureen?
I feel like we were watching, started watching a lot of Hong Kong movies at this point, because there's a lot of that, like, reflection in the toaster that we see the bad guys coming is taken right out of either Hong Kong movies or Hard Target, which was the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
All right.
Saw right when we were making this.
Also easier to animate the villain really small in a reflection.
And wiggly in the toaster.
I wonder how many people say they use Hard Target.
Basically, this this is Hard Target, the game.
I think only 2 people were inspired by Hard Target, Von Damme and Tim.
What's that moving over there by that pile?
I don't know, Rip, but I think that pile is Bolus.
Yes, now I remember. You're the smart one, aren't you?
There's Mo's shack, but I don't see the limo. Maybe I beat them. On second thought, maybe I didn't.
Chan does a lot of
Looks like someone searched this place in a hurry. Nothing left but debris, except for that smashed up camera. Back's open. No film inside. Mo said she didn't have a camera. Here's Mo's picture of her and her Uncle Pete at his mink ranch. She said she went there whenever she needed to get away for a while. That's pretty much my only lead right now.
we didn't want to talk about, at one point the schedule slipped, but I didn't want to be, talk about how much because I was too scared to think about it. And you're like, do you want to know what the budget is? I was like, no. I was like, what is it? No, what is it? It was like, it's $1 million. And it was and we had like gone from Monkey Island, which was, I think was $200,000, and just had never conceived of money like that before. And like, this game is, it's the first one, it's like, it's $1 million.
You could only whisper the
I remember breaking that mark and everybody talking about like, holy crap.
$1 million
I do.
game.
I remember spending countless hours just staring at the budget, where I'd like have to put in the actuals for the month, and then based off of that, project how the rest was going to change, and add more months and more dollars. And
hey!
Joe, you remember the Scumdebug key?
Over here.
The Scumdebug key. No. What was the Scumdebug key?
Wasn't it Control D or something? Matilda?
Oh, after Matilda?
You typed in like Control D Matilda on the keyboard, and they would turn on all the scum jump codes and all the.
Oh. I wonder if that shipped in the game.
It did.
It did? Don't try that. Don't try that at home, kids. Control D tilt the what?
It's like Control D, and then you typed in Matilda.
Well, I
Don't do it.
The guy to Melonweed. But I'm not going near the place. They'd kill me. Get my editor. He's gotta get me out of this. Take one of these fake IDs to get through the roadblocks. My career is riding on those pictures. Help me, Ben. You're my only hope.
Oh, don't worry. I owe you one. If Miranda's thug is the same one that trashed Moe's place, that could be Miranda's camera I saw there. But then, who's got the film?
That's it. So
I remember we didn't want to talk about...
Hey, killer.
What?
Hey, it's cool. Your secret's safe with me.
What secret?
Haven't you been watching the news?
Once again, our top story tonight, Malcolm Corley, owner of Corley Motors, was found dead at a rest stop just outside the town of Melonweed. Apparently, the benevolent patriarch and CEO was viciously beaten about the head and neck, savagely and without mercy. Police have arrested a notorious outlaw biker gang known as the Polecats.
No.
With the exception of their leader, who is still at large. Roadblocks have been set up along Highway 9 in an effort to apprehend this dangerous and violent criminal.
We've been set up.
Roadblocks suck.
I shouldn't have left the gang there.
Hey, I don't want to hear anything about it. You ain't making me an accessory after the fact. Just lay low, man.
Members of the Polecat gang are in custody, but their leader remains at large. Authorities have issued an all-points bulletin.
They got the Polecats.
Latest reports suggest that the leader of the Polecats may have had an accomplice, a young mechanic.
Maureen.
The two are being sought by authorities for questioning in connection with the violent death of motorcycle magnate Malcolm Corley. Asked about the imminent shareholders meeting, Corley Motors Vice President Adrian Ripberger made the following statement.
We cannot in good conscience go forward with the shareholders meeting until the perpetrators of this misdeed have been brought to justice.
He's up to something. He wants us dead before the meeting starts.
Authorities are still seeking the leader of the Polecats and his accomplice, both thought to be armed and dangerous. Latest, the two are being...
Here.
What's that?
Fake federal investigator ID. Could be of some use at one of those roadblocks. Ever hear of this place? Uncle Pete's Mink Ranch?
I remember there used to be some sort of weasel plantation or something up the road.
Down Highway 9 on the other side of them damn roadblocks. I used to pick up mink meat there real cheap and sell it to school lunch programs. That was a good scam.
So how about a ride? What if they search the back and find my bike?
It's buried in a pile of concentrated fertilizer powder. Trust me, no one's gonna dig through that crap. Now you're gonna ride in the engine compartment.
The engine compartment?
Hey, I smuggle stuff in there all the time, and most of it's worth more than you. So stuff your carcass in there quick, and we might hit that mink dump by morning.
Hope you're better with a stick shift than you are with a knife.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Smells like he's got a fuel leak. I love engine fires.
Sorry, sir. Only police vehicles beyond this point.
I'm with the feds, Chump. Check it out.
Huh? What's this about?
Undercover agricultural sting operation.
What's in the back?
Fertilizer.
All right, move along.
Hope you rubes get your man.
We stopped moving. Problem with your truck?
Loose hose, nothing big. I already pulled your bike out. It's sitting right over there. Well, nice knowing you. Gotta hit the road, you know.
Uh-oh. He did have a fuel leak, and he took my fuel line to fix it. That trucker's gonna die for what he did.
I remember for Casey, it was Tim Wrangler.
Tim Wrangler. But this wasn't, it was Grimm where you were like listed as pre-production.
I was the production manager on Full Throttle.
Okay.
Although I love the name of the title producer, I was really just...
Wait, who was the producer? Did we have?
Well,
we didn't have a producer.
Didn't have producers.
We had a project leader.
And actually, when we did have producers, I remember that didn't help so much because it would be somebody that was on like half time or less.
It was me and Wayne splitting all the projects down the middle.
As producer, you mean?
the very beginning, yeah.
Tucker can, if we still don't respect producers around here, we still treat them like, right?
I'm Tim Wrangler now. Good work with that.
That's a more prestigious title than producer.
Velvet Underground just wouldn't have worked for this.
Oh yeah, so originally we were trying to get music. We were thinking about getting licensed music, and we talked to some record companies, and they offered us for free the
entire
catalog of the Velvet Underground,
which was such cool music.
Which is who she loved. But I was like, I don't know if this fits the biker theme. And then also like the Clash was one of them offered to because they were shipping a box set of these things.
Yeah, I think the Clash was. But
and then what we wanted was we wanted Soundgarden. Or I wanted Soundgarden because they had a song called Kickstand. Right. And it just set in the kickstand, and that song Kickstand was so perfect for it. So, should I tell the story? We went down to L.A. Yes. Me and Jack Somerson went down to L.A. to go to A&M Records to try and get them to give us... And we hadn't done any licensed music, really, at all, except for, Star Wars music. And we showed the game to them. We showed them the CES demo with the gas siphoning and stuff. And it was these young executives that were like, this is really cool, we really like it. And then, the big guy showed up, and I think he was either A or M.
I recall the story being Mr. M.
Mr. M came in, and he sat down, and the younger guy was like, okay, Tim, why don't you tell him all about the game? And Mr. M was like, no, I want to hear from you. Tell me why you thought this was a good idea. And so he was putting his own guy on the ringer, like, why'd you bring me in this meeting? And we talked about it, and actually they were kind of into it until... when Jack was talking, they realized that we weren't going to pay them any money. We just wanted to get the song. We were trying to explain that it was going to be...
exposure for them.
Yeah.
Junk. And a hose I can use on my bike. I don't think Mo would mind if I borrow him. Mo? She took my booster fuel. Why is she running from me? She must think the whole world's against her. I think I know how that feels. That does it. He's dead. That sign. That means I'm in cavefish territory.
This cargo is worthless. We have been tricked, my brothers. Back to the cave.
The place looks deserted. Maybe the boss was wrong and she ain't coming here.
She's coming. We just got here first. That means all we have to do is sit here and wait.
Yeah, so where were we with 3D? Like, 3D had already entered the world of games, right? But we were like, no, we love 2D stuff, but we have all these vehicles we have to make.
Dark Forces was just before this, right? Or just it was
concurrent.
It was concurrent.
It shipped around the same time.
It shipped around the same time. That's right.
Because we technically shared a wrap
and
party.
that was sort of knocking off Doom to some extent.
It was. It had 3D.
So was Rebel already happening? Because we had a 3D department. There was like 3 guys.
Yeah.
I think that's why we had it. What them was for the Rebel Assault stuff.
Yeah, I think so. And then, we were talking about there's no way we can draw. Like, we were looking at all the reference material from that anime film Akira, all the motorcycles. We're like, there's no way we can draw this stuff by hand. But then we were trying to figure out, how do we get it to look 2D and just compressing the heck out of the palette and simplifying it.
This was a...
Because they probably didn't have the cartoon renderers back then, right?
No, we didn't have cell shading or anything.
No. So it's just...
I remember there was a big struggle was trying to get it to actually match.
Yeah, so we were just trying to limit the palette, and then we had the 3D Ben on the bike, and then we would draw over it.
What a mess.
Boss, it was Nestor's fault.
Get in quick. I have a plan. We're going to lure the Corley remnant out of hiding with a bike.
Boss, she already has a bike.
Yes, but this one she worked on with her father. It's an emotional thing. Don't try to understand. Now hurry.
Now this is the area where we were originally going to have the whole Ricky Myron section, right?
We were jumping over.
Yeah,
a gorge. We do have that here with the gorge. Oh, yeah. Jump over.
No, but there was the stunt show and the whole Ricky Myron character stuff.
Ricky Myron, by the way, is a kid I went to. I was in 4th grade,
oh, yeah.
and we're on the playground, and I had this rock, and for no reason at all, I want to see how high I could throw this rock in the air, and I threw it as high as I could, and it came down, and it hit Ricky Myron in the head. And he was like, "Why'd you do that?" And I was like, "You know what? Someday I'm going to make you a star. I'm going to
put you in the game.
I'll make it up to you.
I'm going to put you in the game, and then I'm going to cut you out of the game."
Yeah. You're going to be referenced, but you're going to be a great daredevil.
Lots of interesting backstory because it was the stuff we cut. Remember, because the game was getting so huge, and we're like, "We'll never finish this." And I think there was that and one other section. We were looking for stuff to cut, and everything was too interconnected to everything else. And we're like, we can't cut anything except the Ricky Myron section. That's kind of its own piece.
Something tells me the bridge is out. Something tells me the bridge is out. Father Tor. I haven't seen you since you retired from the Polecats.
Hey, Ben. How's my gang doing?
That's a long story. Well, take it easy, Father.
Give him hell, Polecat. Lesson in pain. Pay close attention. This will hurt. Was that all the pain you can...
It's my old friend, what's your name? Glad my knuckles restarted.
Say there, is that a pre-regulation destroyer-class solid fuel recoil booster you have there?
Why, yes it is. Ta-ta!
Father Tor.
Hey, Ben.
What are you doing out here?
Well, retirement's pretty boring, Ben. So I thought I'd come out to the old mine road and look for trouble.
You're picking fights?
That's what the old mine road's for, son.
Well, take it easy, Father.
Give him hell, Polecat.
Suck nitro, snailbait.
Where is this place? It's just like a circle of bikers randomly driving.
Well, it's like Highway 9. Actually, I wonder if there's a highway called Highway 9 on the way down. There's like Santa Cruz that bikers love. It's an actual like biker road where bikers go on a lot, and there's a lot of biker bars on the way and stuff. So that's real. That's right out of the pages of California history.
Is that 17 that you're talking
It's
about?
off of 17. Or it's the mountain road that you would take next to 92 and Highway 1.
Now I'm mad.
Again? Good. Is that all the pain you can dish at?
Oh, Tim, chainsaw. I threw a party at my house, which is up in the woods in the Colorado, and it was in the middle of a forest.
And we couldn't get to it.
And it had a long driveway that went through the forest.
Right.
And we had a terrible storm, and it was pitch dark, and the first person to arrive at my party was Tim, driving alone, and he came up to a fallen tree across the driveway, and I emerged with a chainsaw running in my hand and go walking.
Wow, are you really a polecat? You polecats never learn, do you? Poking.
There's the sound of you driving over a rough road.
Steve, I remember you were duly hard on me to get that sound right of the tire going over those reflectors in the center of the road. And it's true. It makes that sound. We all know that sound. It's like it sort of sounds like puck. You know, puck, 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 puck. And I have to admit, I had a really hard time making that sound. Finally, one time I was just driving and holding my arm out the window of my truck with a microphone and running over those things. I don't know if I ended up using those, but it was a tough sound to make. To get.
Hey, Ben.
Father Torque, I need your help. The gang's in jail and the law.
Ben, I'm not the leader of the polecats anymore. You are. Can't you see I'm on permanent vacation?
Well, take it easy, Father.
Give him hell, polecat.
What's wrong? Lead divers? Suck nitros!
That should have a couple of good boosts left in it.
him, Bike!
I don't spelunk. I don't spelunk.
So I remember
deliver it.
when we were in the end of QA, and Tim decided to go play pool one night in San Francisco. This was before cell phones. And something came up, and I had to find Tim and bring him back. I think it was for the bunnies. And because there was a bug that had to be fixed, and we had to ship this game. And so all I knew was that Tim had gone to play pool. in San Francisco.
Well, I didn't have any work to do.
Right.
So you're basically thumbing through Yellow Pages.
I had the phone book, and I called every pool hall in San Francisco looking for him.
This makes me sound like a totally different person.
I know. But he wasn't
Like every
in any.
juke joint.
He wasn't in any of them. So then I'm like, okay. So the last pool hall, I said, okay, so maybe he's in a bar with a pool table. Can you tell me the name of a bar that has a pool table? And he did. And then I looked that up, and I called that. And then when he wasn't there, I just kept doing that until finally.
Are you kidding me?
Finally, I found him in some bar with a pool table.
Oh my goodness!
And
it was a kilowatt.
when he picked up the bar phone, he was terrified because he was like, "How did you find me?"
Actually, I don't remember this. This is crazy. I can't believe you found me by calling random bars. It makes me sound way cooler than I am, too. I like this. But what could I have done? I wasn't programming.
I want to know how she described
Actually,
you.
I did program for buddies.
It was something that you had to make a call on.
It was
something.
my actual bug.
Yeah, it was either your bug or you had to make a decision right then and there as to what we were going to do.
Bunnies in or out.
I'm done with these boys.
Now, this is the area where we were originally going to have the whole Ricky Myron section.
Not on foot. I'm not putting my lips on that. Man, that's a good-looking bike. Something tells me the bridge is out. Something tells me the bridge is out. Looks okay for an aftermarket part. All right, I've modified my bike enough.
Yeah, you remember how we got the rock and roll to sound so good in the game?
Oh, we just deliberately distorted it?
Yeah, we turned it up because of the low sample rate. We turned it up so it was about 50% too hot.
Clipping.
So it was clipping, so all the waveforms were being chopped.
Right.
For all you audio geeks out there. It's a real no-no. But it sounded
good.
The best way to do it for that particular sound.
Well, since we're talking about Smush, which originated, I believe, with Rebel Assault, right? With Vince. In an earlier incarnation, at least. And Vince liked to do everything himself. And we were a little miffed in the sound department because we found out that he had dubbed the Star Wars main theme himself using a boombox.
Right.
And the headphone output.
Right.
So, more geeky audio stuff, but basically a headphone signal is an amplified signal, right, to drive the headphones. And he put that right into the computer, to the Sound Blaster card, and sampled it. And it sounded really big and huge and over the top. And we said, Vince, let people do this who know how. So we couldn't get it to sound as good as he had. No matter what we did. And then I finally realized the only way to get it to sound better, or even just a little better than what he had, was to deliberately clip it and overdrive the analog signal and overdrive everything.
Okay, I have to talk about this puzzle because it's causing me a lot of grief. This is the second puzzle everyone gets stuck on, and they hate and they get really angry. So the puzzle is supposed to be that you have to line up your knees, your eyes with the crack on the wall, and the puzzle is supposed to be that Maureen wasn't a grown-up woman at that time. She was only a 4-year-old girl, so the crack should be much lower, and if you go there and kick it, it works. But we're worried people would just brute force it and kick everything, so we made it so you couldn't kick it unless all these gauges were all lined up, which is a little contrived. And so, but that's where I learned the rule of adventure games. If it's possible at all to brute force something, they will do it. They'll be like, well, I guess I just got to kick every pixel on this wall. And so people would kick every pixel and be like, why did you make that stupid puzzle where you have to kick every pixel? And I'm like, it was supposed to be this other thing.
Supposed to figure it out.
You're supposed to think the way I thought about it. And so that was a big learning experience for me. I want to talk about Roy Conrad because we listened to a lot of audition tapes for this game, and everyone you tell them they're going to be a biker does this really, like tough. That was my tough guy voice. Like trying to be super tough. And it always came through as trying to be tough, and I didn't like any of them. And then we heard Roy's voice, and it is really deep and tough sounding, but he's kind of gentle about it, and there's something about the fact that he's not trying to sound tough that just made us love it all right away. The second he started talking, we were like, yeah. Man.
Such a great voice. And he looked nothing like the character.
No, he looked like a dad, like a gentle,
kindly old
fatherly.
Dad.
Open up. I'm here for the shareholders meeting.
Mr. Ripperger has postponed the meeting until Mr. Corley's murderers are apprehended. All the shareholders were notified.
Yeah. Well, I haven't checked my voicemail lately, Mac.
Souvenirs here.
There was a local radio DJ named Alex Bennett who was a big fan of David Tentacle.
Excuse me.
And he was a fan of ours. We got him to do the voice of the stadium announcer.
That's right.
That's Alex Bennett. He was like the Howard Stern before Howard Stern,
Yeah.
as I think you would say.
Didn't we get him to do some sort of PR thing on his show?
I got to go on the show and promote.
Right.
Wasn't he at the
He was at the
He
rap
probably was
party.
at the rap party too, yeah. He was an institution in San Francisco radio.
Yes,
for a
he
while.
was.
KMEL and all these different stations.
Live 105, yeah.
105, yeah, he was a big deal, and he got his voice in the game.
Looks like it's getting weak.
Oh, great, you killed the batteries. Lovable, lovable little bunnies.
There's the vultures' hideout on the other side of this field. I've heard a lot about the vultures. And I guess it's all true.
I remember going into Tim's office at one point as the deadline was looming, saying, "Tim, you got to cut the mine road or the bunnies."
Oh, I remember.
He's like, "I'm not cutting either one."
Mine road or the bunnies?
Yeah, I'm like, "You got to cut one, Tim. Something's got to go."
We had already cut so much on this game. I was like, "We can't cut anymore." And the bunnies are crucial to the narrative.
We got your t-shirts here. All sizes and colors. Fill our handy beverage.
That should put some...
Sure. Take it for a spin. Just don't go out of range. Hey, don't go in there. Now look what you did. The entrance is all the way through the factory. Hang on, little buddy. Daddy's coming.
Now it's just me.
There was a local radio DJ named Alex Bennett who was a big fan of Day of the Tentacle. Do you remember going to Skywalker Ranch to record a video that was for marketing purposes, which was the Gone Jackals playing? And I don't know what, this is for some B-roll that we recorded for marketing use, but they also took a picture of the band and they made a leather jacket that said Full Throttle on it. And we filmed them playing in the same soundstage that the London Symphony Orchestra did Star Wars music on. And I just remember they came in and they wanted to pose with their bikes on the soundstage. And so they rolled, there was like the night watchman who was like letting us into the building. We had permission to be in there, but he like saw the motorcycles getting wheeled in. He's like, are those okay being indoors? And like, yeah. And like, he said, and he asked we had these actual biker guys who own the bikes, wheel them in. And he's like, I think a leak on the woods, a hardwood floor in here. And then the biker guy was just like, she'll leave for Mark.
Well, that's a good segue.
But it's no big deal.
I remember going into Tim's office at one point as the deadline was looming, saying, "Tim, you got to cut the mine road or the bunnies."
I remember.
He's like, "I'm not cutting either one."
Mine road or the bunnies?
Yeah, I'm like, "You got to cut one, Tim. Something's got to go."
We had already cut so much on this game. I was like, we can't cut anymore. And the bunnies are crucial to the narrative.
I don't want to set off any of these boys. I don't want to set off any of these boys. No.
That's the guy I was telling you about, Susie.
You sure?
Yeah, that's the guy who killed my father.
All right, vultures, rack 'em up.
Let's rip him quick.
Listen, Mo, you're making a big mistake.
Oh, Ben, you're right. We shouldn't do this quickly. We should draw this out, don't you think, Susie?
Hey, I got all night. You heard her, kids. Let's draw this out.
Let me go, or else...
Or else what?
I'll call you names.
Ooh, like what?
Diaper Dynamo.
How? How'd you hear that name?
Your father. He told me just before he died.
You bludgeoned my father and then talked about old times?
I didn't kill him. Ripburger did. A photographer took pictures, but her camera was stolen by the same thug that came after you.
I still have that roll.
Well, develop it, would you? While I still fit in my clothes?
Okay, you stay here.
Hey.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, don't sweat it.
I'm gonna get Ripburger even if I die trying.
No, we have to expose Ripburger at the shareholders meeting. That way, we take him down, we save my gang, and your father gets his dying wish. You take over Corley Motors.
Ripburger canceled the shareholders meeting. He made a statement to the press that there'd be no meeting until the murderers were brought to justice.
So, no shareholders meeting until we're both dead?
That could be arranged.
Okay, so here we go. Faking Ben and Maureen's death. Act 1, Scene 1. Adrian Ripburger, in a desperate attempt to lure our Maureen out of hiding, has developed the following lame-ass scheme. First prize at tonight's smash-up derby is a vintage hardtail that Mo restored with her dad. Rip hopes Mo will try to nab said bike on account of her sentimental attachment to it. So Ben and Mo play along, put on disguises, and enter the demolition derby, which ends tragically when their cars explode and both are presumed dead.
Question.
Please save your questions until the end. Now, the explosives in Mo's car can only be triggered by a head-on collision with Ben's car. This ejector seat projects Mo clear of the explosion, and she parachutes to safety.
Don't you think someone will notice her ejecting out of her car?
No, they'll all be watching you running around on fire.
Yeah, that's another question I have.
When your car explodes, you climb from it in flames and run around the stadium distracting the audience. In your cute little asbestos suit, of course.
That's some plan.
All right, then. Let's go blow you little darlings up.
All right, folks. Hang on to your chili dogs, because it's time to start. The Corley Motors Smashatorium Amateur Driver Ultimate Destruction Maximum Carnage Marathon. Let's meet our crash cage gladiators.
There's George.
George Lucas in the wild.
Oh, that's right.
It's a lookalike.
That's awesome.
No, that's not George. It's
Somebody in a George costume.
I love the hair.
See, they're all in disguise. Marine's got a wig on.
Oh, now I'm just embarrassed for them. Who do they think they're fooling with those ludicrous disguises?
And next to him is another masked newcomer. Please give a big Smashatorium salute to the Princess of Pile-Up, Doreen Schmorley.
All right, boys. Sick 'em.
And finally, we have a last-minute addition to the lineup tonight. A deadly-looking team known as the Boom Boom Brothers.
try and get away now, bicycle boy.
All right now, are you ready to see some reckless driving? Are you ready to see some unnecessarily violent destruction? Then let the Demolition Derby begin.
Where are you, Ben?
Hang on, Mo. Here I come. Looks like...
What are you doing? Okay, Boom Boom Brothers. It's all over.
Get him! What are you doing? Are you taking a nap? Idiots.
Okay, Mo. Time for our big finale.
Do it!
Now that's an explosion, ladies and gentlemen. Can't see any survivors yet. Wait, what's that? It's the Unknown Avenger, and he's on fire! Let's give him a hand, folks. That looks painful. We really should put him out right away, but what a show, huh? Oh, the humanity!
That's the way out, but I can't get through that door.
Well, folks, it looks like the party's getting a little out of hand. The stadium seems to be catching fire, but let's all remain calm and... Yeah, you're right. The derby's over. Run for your lives!
Finally. Now, squish that firefly while he's hot.
Look at him run.
What happened? Did you get him?
We finally got him, Bolus. That means Ripburger has to make us vice presidents now, like he promised, and give us 10,000 shares of stock each. Funny smell. What's that? The temperature light?
Well, on the bright side, I just made 20,000 shares of stock. Time to start the shareholders meeting.
Where's the hardtail?
All over the floor, Mr. Avenger.
What? What happened to your deep sentimental attachment to your father's vintage bike?
Ben, it's just a bike. I can put it back together in about a half an hour. That's assuming, of course, I can find that key.
I'll see what I can do.
So, Keith of the Gone Jackals recommended a guy he knew who had a Harley with straight pipes, a big old chopper. And every single cylinder stroke sounded literally like a cannon going off. I mean, literally. And that's Ben's bike. And we did a bunch of pass-bys and starts and all the things that you would do. But the best recording that came out was strapping a Walkman Pro with a cassette. It was a cassette recorder, which was actually really good that it wasn't digital, you know, that it was recording onto magnetic tape because it's such a loud sound pressure. And we strapped it on the back of his bike with a gooseneck going to an SM57, which for audio people who may not know, is often used on a snare drum. It can take a lot of sound pressure level, these mics. They just, you could mic, you know, a cannon.
It was invented for the military.
Oh, really, was it?
That's what Camden said the other day.
Wow, okay. So I just strapped it on the back of his bike and he just rode around. And that ended up being the cleanest recordings, the best recordings. We got accelerates, we got steadies, we got all kinds of stuff from that. And much of it was cut in without any processing or pitch shift or anything like that. It was just the sound of that wonderful Harley. So the driver of that almost dumped it though because it started raining. So we had to store it in the LucasArts lobby.
Right.
And here, take the photos. I don't want them. Show them to someone important if you get a chance.
Remember one time, like right as we were about to ship, I was
There's some sort of card. A tape. I sure hope that's Corley's will.
I do remember one time, like right as we were about to ship, I was testing it at home, like all night long, trying to crash it. And I like started to doze off, and my cat walked across the keyboard and crashed the game.
Oh, that's right, the cat crash bug. The cat bug. And we could never, your cat would not reproduce it for us.
Reproduce that bug.
And they were like, "Well, we've got to fix it." And it's like,
bring the cat in. Bring the cat in.
Bro, I can't.
Did you thank that
Everybody
cat in the credits?
get a
What was
cat.
the name of that cat?
We started bringing cats into the pit.
Did you thank it in the credits? What cat was that?
It was Eartha, and she was thanked.
Thank you. This is the last game I ever programmed on, I believe. I remember doing Ben crawling all over the semi and doing the bunny stuff, which is maybe why it was such a problem. This is an interesting transition for me in learning about schedules and how terrible and hard they are. Because Day of the Tentacle, I feel like, was the last game we did that was on time.
Yeah.
It was not a breeze.
Looks like the meeting started.
Was not only an inspirational leader, but also a great personal friend. His loss affects us all deeply. Malcolm and I spoke often of the future. We talked of a day when Corley Motors would move beyond its humble beginnings into a new vehicular age. And although his tragic death took him from us sooner than anyone expected, Malcolm Corley's dream remains. And I shall carry out that dream in his memory. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present to you the future of Corley Motors. The Corley Minivan.
Corley was right. I never dreamed it would actually come to minivans, though.
This is the last game I ever programmed on, I believe. I remember doing Ben crawling all over the semi and doing the bunny stuff, which is maybe why it was such a problem. This is an interesting a transition for me in learning about schedules and how terrible and hard they are. Because Day of the Tentacle, I feel like was the last game we did that was on time.
Yeah.
It was not a breeze, but it was like no crunch mode, followed the schedule. And part of that is because we had an extra 6 months at the end because of adding the voice we had.
Right.
But and this is the first game that went way over budget that I worked on. And the first time I had a producer, which is Casey. So she would come in, and I just remember you asked
like a specter.
Yeah, she'd come in and be like, Tim, when is this going to be done? And I just remember that weird feeling of, and I told this to you, like, I don't know how to express this, but I feel like you come in and ask me a question, and then I look over to the place where that information is, and I see this empty box with cobwebs in it. And then I come back out like, I don't know what to tell you. So this is at the time, this is the worst thing we could think of to happen, which was that the motorcycle company would start making minivans. Because minivans, I feel like minivans, they're pretty new in the 90s, right?
That's true.
That's when they emerged. They were the epitome of just selling out and living a suburban life.
Yeah, I've got one.
I would love to have one right now. Let me tell you. Yep. But that was like the worst vehicle we could think of.
They were really ugly initially, too.
And nowadays it would be like, I don't SUV? No, I don't know. It would be something that would imply that a motorcycle company had sold out completely. Because we were like, how do you make it? You know, motorcycles, they live with a high-risk situation. How do you really threaten? How do you make something really scary? Like their way of life is going to end, and it's that their favorite motorcycle brand would start making this symbol of normal life.
Domesticity,
exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, many of you have young children. What you see before you right now is my vision for
Oh, perfect.
This is a disaster.
You're telling me we're gonna have some major downtime here. Why don't you tell a joke or something?
I don't know any jokes. You know, this reminds me of an amusing anecdote about
Well, I'm out of ideas.
Hey, when is it that George came down and spoke to us all, and he said he had his 55% rule? There was a game that precipitated that.
I thought it was 40. If you get 45% of what you want, then you're...
No, 55.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was 55. No, it was just over half. He goes, if you got this great idea and you think it's going to be killer, and through the realities of relegating it with a team and all the collaboration, all the technical limitations, you get it to 55% of relegating your concept, the audience will get it. And it's time to let go and ship your products, folks. Like, come on.
Right.
This is a business after all.
Preservation of the status quo. Now, this next slide shows our new, more aggressive corporate strategy.
Where'd you get the idea of him having a New England accent? It's really cool.
Pepperidge Farms guy,
Pepperidge Farms.
I don't
get with these bikers.
In this, the voice for this game, I was more removed from it than I would be on future games. I got really involved in the casting. So I was involved in the casting of Ben and stuff, but Tamlin Neilio and Chris Brown did a lot of it on their own, and they went and recorded definitely without me. And so I don't remember. And Tamlin's thing was we got to differentiate all these characters, right? And that's where a lot of the crazy accents come from. Is like we got to make them stand out from each other.
We worked. They're great.
All right, that's enough. How do I turn this damn thing off?
I'm sorry you had to hear that tape from one of Malcolm's psychiatric sessions. Near the end, he suffered many paranoid delusions. He was haunted by powerful forces of his own creation.
And here's one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Maureen Corley, and do I have a heck of a story for you. By the time I'm done, you'll see why this man should be in jail. Hey! Where'd he hobble off to?
Uh-oh. There he goes.
And then he sent his goons after me.
Run, Rip Burger. When it's time to find you, we'll just follow the shiny trail.
Yes, of course we'll have daycare facilities. Any other questions? Oh, speak of the devil. Come over here, Ben. That was great, Ben. You're finally where we were meant to be all along.
So, after we pick up your bike, we'll go get my gang out of jail.
And then find out why my gang never showed up to help us.
And then you go business suit shopping.
Don't remind me.
Don't complain. You're going to be rich.
At this point, I'd settle for just a little peace and quiet.
She interrupted my speech then. She really shouldn't have. I was just about to talk about the inherent dangers of motorcycle operation. Huh?
Can't you make this damn thing go any faster?
You need more than a cane when I'm through with you, Rip Burger.
No one sneaks up on me from behind.
I thought you said this thing couldn't move.
I I said it couldn't fly. I never said it couldn't taxi.
Well, flying would be nice since we're headed for the gorge.
Ripburger, you're going to kill all of us.
Shh, Ben, don't move.
How do you stop?
From the cockpit. Doc!
So much for the controls. I could have used those. Here goes nothing.
What the?
Ben, what did you do? Ben, are you alive?
I am, but I don't know about Ripburger.
I can see him. He's out cold. Climb back here quick.
I think you just killed a seagull.
I feel like I remember
Well, that answers that.
Wait, come back! We need your weight in the plane!
So this is a big question for the remaster because the aspect ratio is wider. And one of the puzzles here is as you run out of this, you don't see Ben's bike lurking in the corner. So you try to run for it and then you blow up. But it was a puzzle to like you have to walk to the left to pan over to see the Ben's bike. But now I think it's just going to show.
Oh.
And I think the explosion looks like a giant croissant chasing you out of the plane. Watch this. Look for the croissant.
Must have been breakfast.
Here comes. And croissant.
Yes.
Yes. Delicious.
Flaky.
That's my favorite. Okay, that is a favorite.
That's the best shot.
Life was a game to him, and he played it by his own rules. He was a mystery to most of us, and yet an inspiration to us all. He gave us freedom. He gave us power. He gave us wings. He gave us wheels. Thank you, Malcolm Corley, for giving us a dream that will never die.
So, maybe we could do lunch sometime next week.
Yeah, sure. Lunch sounds great.
Things aren't gonna change, are they, Ben? I mean, just because I'm in charge of the company now, and living in a mansion and riding around in limos, that doesn't mean we won't spend a lot of time together, does it?
Look, Mo, you're in a different league now. You shouldn't be hanging out with the likes of me anymore.
But Ben... Oh, just a second. Hello? What? No, that's crazy. Is he nuts? Look, move the meeting up to 5 and tell the plant foreman that I'm coming over personally to inspect those parts. I know, that's what I told him. Excuse me, what was that last part? No, that alloy was flawed to begin with. Uh-huh, yeah, good, great.
When you rise and sand, you find a lockstep march, no room for jam.